I've worked for the last year as an English tutor on italki, during which time I've taught over 1,700 English lessons. So in this video I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my experience on the platform as a teacher. So as a lot of you guys might know if you've seen my previous video, I actually started using italki as a student, but pretty quickly I started getting questions from my teachers about whether I was teaching English on italki and why not, basically. Initially I hadn't ever thought about it. I assumed that I wouldn't be able to teach English as a foreign language because I didn't know any other foreign languages, right? Like, how am I going to teach a Japanese person to speak English if I don't know any kind of Japanese, or so on and so forth. Turns out that that's not really very necessary. Most people that use italki as students are not A0 students, which is to say they're not starting from zero experience, especially with English. Most people have at least a little bit of exposure to the language. So I decided to give it a try and see how it went, and well, a year later I'm still here, so I want to talk about what I've learned and what my experience has been like during this year. Okay, so before we jump into what's good, what's bad, what I like, what I don't, let's answer the question that most people want to know the answer to. Can you make good money working on italki? So I'm going to answer this with a yes, however. So of course it depends massively on your situation. If you're using it as a bit of a side hustle, as a bit of an alternative income or extra income, then italki is going to be an absolutely amazing option for you. If you're looking at it as something that you want to be doing full time, and you're someone that's got like lots of overheads, big mortgage, kids and all this kind of stuff, then it might be a little bit tougher. Still doable, but a little bit tougher. So again, talking about how much money you can earn is quite difficult because it depends on a lot of different factors. It depends on what your prices are, it depends on what your availability is. It also depends on what language you're teaching. You know, some languages are more in demand, so you can charge a little bit more. Other languages have a lot of teachers, like English, so you can't necessarily charge so much and still have a lot of students. So there's lots of different factors. As a little bit of a gauge, I charge around £12 per hour, and even during the month of December, where everything was a little bit quieter, I was still able to comfortably bring in just over £1,200. This of course is not a fixed figure. I can't guarantee that every month, but I would say that I can comfortably get at least that or above that on a monthly basis, which again, for me in my situation right now, during all this that's going on at the moment, is okay for me. I can get by, I can pay the rent and all that kind of stuff. So again, yes, you can make decent money working on italki, but there are several different factors to pay attention to. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the good and the bad, what I like and what I don't like so much. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. One of the things that I love about working as a tutor on italki is that you meet some absolutely incredible people. So I've had students from all over the world, from countries from every corner of the globe, with people with all kinds of different jobs and backgrounds, histories, reasons for wanting to learn the language. And I found that the more people I meet from more countries, different places, I actually get to learn a lot as well. I've been able to learn a lot about different jobs that I've never come across, or about different cultures that I wasn't so aware of, and all these kind of things. So the ability to meet and interact with so many amazing people is definitely a plus. The second thing I really love about working as a tutor on italki is the freedom that I have. So one of the really cool things about italki is it leaves pretty much everything up to you. So you get to choose your price, you get to choose your hours, when you're available to work, when you're not available to work. You get to choose which students you accept or which you don't. I don't know why you wouldn't want to accept students, but of course there might be some reasons. So everything's totally up to you. If you don't like something, you can change it. If you don't want to work this day, or you think your prices are too low or they're too high or whatever, it's all completely down to you. So the freedom that italki gives you, I think, is another really, really good thing. And then the final great thing, which is probably one of the reasons that a lot of people like to look at something like italki as a job option, is because it's totally remote. So obviously all I need to be able to do this is my laptop, or I could do it on my phone technically, and a pair of headphones, and then I'm ready to go, and an internet connection. Obviously right now, at the time of filming, it doesn't really do me any good because I can't travel anywhere, but it's definitely a plus to know that if I wanted to be somewhere else in the world, I could still do this job in exactly the same way. So that's definitely another plus. Okay, so from the good things to the bad things. What are some of the things that I haven't enjoyed about working as a tutor on italki? Okay, so the first thing is that the italki algorithm is pretty random. I couldn't tell you I know how it works or how it functions. There's some ideas floating around on the forums as to how it decides how to promote teachers, but basically as a student, when you go and look for a teacher, you're presented with a huge list of all the teachers, and you can filter people based on different things, but essentially you just have this huge list of tutors. And so obviously the people that appear higher up in the list are more likely to get more class bookings compared to the people that are at the bottom of the list, especially with a language like English, which has thousands of tutors. Basically why I bring this up is because, again, like I say, the algorithm is very random and I don't think anyone really knows how it works. So there's nothing you can really do to get to the top of the list. italki tells you that the more availability that you have, the quicker that you respond to classes and all these kind of things, that affects how high up in the list you are. But there have been lots of people that have reported saying that they do those things and they still don't seem to get very many class bookings. I personally feel like I've had a pretty consistent income of students, but there's definitely times where there's a lot more and definitely times where there's a lot less. And so it's a little bit difficult not really knowing how to best optimize the algorithm, how to get yourself to the top of the list and those kind of things. So that's something I would put in the less than good column. Okay, another thing that I don't enjoy so much about italki is they have some strange kind of rules for the amount of time necessary to book a class. So what I mean by that confusing sentence is that as a student, you can book a class with a teacher 12 hours ahead. So if it's 10 o'clock at night, you can book a class with a tutor if there's availability at 10 a.m. the next morning. Now, as a tutor, I have to accept that, but if I don't accept it in time and it just runs out, then it goes as like a bad mark against my my profile. And whilst I haven't really had huge problems with this, it's a bit annoying to think that, you know, I feel like I can never be away from my phone for that long because I might have stuff pop up on italki and then suddenly I've missed a few requests and then they've hidden my profile from the list or whatever. So the fact that you can book classes like so close, so soon is, I don't know, to me I don't really like it, so that's something that I've not really enjoyed. And then I guess the final thing that I will bring up, and again this is a personal thing, but this is my video, so that's what you're getting. It's not super often, but sometimes I've had the experience where someone has booked a class with me with a profile that appears to be of an adult, has an adult's picture, and maybe it is that adult's profile, but then when the class happens, you're sat in front of their 6, 7, 8-year-old child. For me personally, as a community tutor, not as a professional teacher, I really don't enjoy this. One, because it feels not great, you know, to kind of, you feel a bit cheated, you know, you've had a class booked with an adult and then a child turns up. But I also have no experience teaching children and I don't really have a lot of content to entertain children. You know, I find it a lot easier to have conversation classes with an adult than I do with a child personally. So that at the beginning was a bit of a learning curve. It's not really so hard to avoid because you realize that if you contact each student before you actually accept any classes and before you put anything in place, then you can usually avoid that. But that is something else that I've had some negative experiences with, I don't really like, and it just makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. You know, the italki terms of service say that the youngest age should be 14, so when someone sits their 8-year-old child in front of you, you feel a bit like, I don't know, for me at least it's a little bit strange. So that I didn't enjoy so much, but again, it's something that you can combat fairly easily. Wow. Okay, so I guess they're the highlights of the things that I've enjoyed and not enjoyed so far. Again, I've talked about the fact that you can make decent money on italki. I've met plenty of people that work full-time on italki, have done for a long time, and do have those things, the overheads, the mortgage, the kids, and all those kind of stuff. There's lots of different ways that you can do it, but I would say it's not necessarily the easiest option. So would I recommend italki to people that are interested in it? The resounding answer for me is yes. I have really enjoyed my time on italki so far. I'm still teaching on italki and continue to do so at least in the near future. Like I say, the freedom that I have to be able to adjust my prices, my timetable, all these different kind of things, I find really, really useful. I've loved my experiences meeting all of my students, and I'm sure I'm going to meet lots more awesome people in the future. So I would definitely recommend italki as an option, but I would keep in mind that it depends a little bit on your situation. If you're looking for a little bit of extra income, it's amazing. I would definitely recommend 110%. If you are sitting in a cushy, comfy office job right now and you're thinking of leaving that job to support your mortgage and 2 children, on an italki salary, I might tell you to just think about it a little bit more. But overall, my experience has been super positive, so I would definitely recommend it to anyone that's interested. So that just about rounds up my quick thoughts for this video. Like I said, I just wanted to share, I guess, like a brief bit about my experience, the things that I've liked, the things that I liked, things that I didn't like, and if I would recommend it to you guys. So I hope you've found this video interesting and insightful. If you have any more questions about italki in general, being a tutor and all that kind of stuff, feel free to leave me a comment in the comment box below, or you can send me a message on my Instagram. My Instagram is in the description box below as well. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Hasta luego.